Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm George and this is part 3 of the Regentone Multi 99 record player and radio unit. And today we're going to go through and just cover what we've achieved over the last week or so while I've been playing silly beggars in fields at music festivals and getting a suntan. What can I say? So looking at the bench, from the last time you saw this unit, there has been a little bit of cleaning done. Just a little bit, not a lot. The top is now as clean as I'm likely to get it without completely stripping it and doing a full rub down, polish, and just generally going overboard. The dirt itself was mainly beeswax and grime, which I've taken off with alcohol, and it's now a lot shinier than it was. Also, what's happened, there has been a rather large amount of electrical work done. These micas all tested fine, so I've left them in. This resistor and this one and these three here were about the only resistors that were within tolerance. Everything else has been replaced. So that's what we've done there. And again, the bottom side wasn't particularly dirty. I have undone these capacitors and cleaned underneath them for the mica sheet, which is why the red paint has been disturbed. All of the valve sockets have been cleaned and scrubbed. The capacitor has been cleaned, the shaft has been cleaned. I've yet to lubricate it with some light machine oil, but that will happen shortly. All of the contacts on here have been cleaned. Again, this capacitor was checked and found to be okay, as was this one and this one and this one. All of these micas are pretty reliable. They stay within tolerance. The tone bleed off capacitor was replaced, even though it wasn't a particularly stress component. It was a wax capacitor, so if you're changing the rest of them, you might as well do that last one, and that's now also done. The pots have also been cleaned as well, and pretty much the set is ready to be tested, and I mean tested electrically. They were what came out of the set. None of them are salvageable. They're all out of tolerance. I've been through the schematic and I've marked through where I've tested, the components I've changed, all of the ones I've checked, marked them off and changed them where necessary. I've actually made continuity checks all the way through these red parts, and everything checks out fine. As a set, it's looking particularly good. What else has been done? I've checked the transformer through that one. I've checked all of these coils, and the resistances they give are again within a few percent. They're not wildly out. There are no breaks. So I think the thing to do is to get the voltmeter and check to see what it does. Right, so we're all set up to do the first test, which is AC input. The isolation transformer is switched on. The safety tester is in place. And before I plug in the safety tester, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it, because I don't know if this bulb is any good. So I'm going to put the shorting plug in. I now know that the bulb is good, so I can turn that off. At the moment the switch is in the off position. We're reading no volts, or enough not to worry about it. So let's turn the switch on and measure the AC voltage. And we have 222 volts coming in, and the bulb is glowing. Hopefully that's showing up on camera, but the bulb is glowing a little bit so that we're not getting the full voltage to the set as it is. So from here we can start to check the voltages that they're getting through from, first of all, the transformer, and then all the way through the rest of the circuit. When we left the set, before I started pulling things apart and changing things, we knew that the power amplifier stage was working fine. and the rectifier was working fine, so I don't actually need to check that at this stage. So I've got the meter set to DC, and I've got one loose probe, the other one is connected to the chassis. What I'm going to do is first of all measure the voltage on the output transformer, and that is 370 volts, which is quite good seeing as we've got no load. 372 that side. Yep, fine, no problem. And what I need to do is I now need to check the anodes of the valves. So pin 7 on this particular tube, if I'm remembering my counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe that one. There we go, we've got 374 there. Pin 9. We've got 374 as well. The next valve along, pin 7, 364 there. Pin 2 on the next one, 373. On the first one, we have pin 8. We've got voltage to that one. Pin 6, which also has voltage to it. Pin 1, which also has voltage on it. That's great. Drop the power from the set and replace the tubes. While we're here, I will connect up the test speaker, back again with the tubes all in now, and by the magic of Grayskull, no, it was by the power of Grayskull, wasn't it?
By the power of Grayskull!
We have elastic trickery attached to this set. The bulb is glowing at a nice reasonable level to show that we have the go-go juice going in, the angry pixies. I've put a knob back on the selector switch just because it's easier to turn. I've also set up the audio generator so that we can make sure that we are actually getting noise into and out of the set. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the audio generator. Let's make sure that this is in gramophone. If I put this where the audio pickup goes in, get a tone. We're getting audio through on gramophone as we were before. Now I'm going to set up the RF generator and connect that to the radio. And the first thing we're going to do is check the IF and make sure that we are actually receiving a signal. Let's put the IF on the right part of the circuit. I have one pin 2, so 1 to chassis. So we are getting the IF working, which is quite good. Let me just turn that down. I think what we'll do is we'll just see if we can get the radio to play. Let's see if we can pick up any stations. Now the problem I might be having is because I am still on the current limiter. So I'm going to take that off the limiter. Plug that straight into the isolation transformer. That extra little bit of voltage has given it it's trying. So yeah, it's trying, and we're getting somewhere. We've at least got the IF working. I can't test the front end of the set, and we can't do any alignment until I've got the dial cord attached. Okay, so at this point I'm going to leave the set alone. I might either work on the record deck or I might work on the cabinet, depending on the weather. If it's wet outside, we'll stay indoors and take apart the record deck, and we'll do that. Otherwise, I'll be outside with the sandpaper and the paint stripper and taking off the finish off the cabinet. Until then, I'm going to say if you want to see the rest of the series, then check it out. It's going to be in the top corner. In the bottom corner will be a video that YouTube choose for you. If you have any comments, please leave them. I'd be very interested to hear from you with your thoughts and ideas, and any other suggestions as to what you'd like to see me do with this set. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button, click like, do the normal things every YouTuber asks you to do. Share the video with all your friends on social media and do all the things YouTubers ask you to do. Until then, I'm going to wish you all the best, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.